so this is going to be a first full length video. Today I've got the QSP Penguin Glyde. There's no disassembly video on YouTube that I can find for this particular knife, so we are going to do that now. I forgot this had thumb studs. It's a really great knife, inexpensive crossbar lock. I'm kind of interested to see how the little crossbar tabs here work with this knife. So let's get out the old WIA kit, drivers, and see what we need. Looks like the pivot's going to be a T8, and I'm assuming the rest are probably going to be a T6. Are those T8 as well? Yeah, those are T6. Alright, so let's start by getting the pocket clip off. It's usually the first place you start with these things. That always helps to have a little bowl or some kind of separator to keep your parts organized. And there is a little block on the back of here too. Take that off. Take that little block off there. I'm assuming that's just a placeholder if you wanted to put your left hand carry on there. Alright, pocket clips off. Let's get the screws. Hopefully these are not threaded in a way that's going to make me need to have them on both sides. It doesn't look that way. I don't have two T6s, so it's not feeling that way. Sometimes with these knives you've got to have a torque on both sides of the screwdriver, or both sides of the tool, but it's not looking that way here. Looks like a little bit of Loctite on there. Nothing too serious. These screws are relatively easy to remove. We'll go to the other side as well before we take the pivot off completely. So now we're just left with the pivot. That's going to be our T8. That's pretty loose. So we'll take the pivot out. Push the pivot through. Looks like this is this on washers or is this on bearings? So there we go. Interesting. Alright, so there's a pretty simple show through of the scale there. Now what's interesting is it does almost sort of carry that same vibe as an access lock. However, where the access lock has the area to break free out of there, this doesn't look so. So I'm going to slide the blade out, and it does look like it is on bearings. Yep, we're on bearings there. So let's go ahead and just move our bearings to the side along with the blade, and then we can kind of get a better idea of what we are dealing with this knife. So things off of that. Does that just pop out? Do I need to get... Alright, let me get my spudger tool real quick. We'll see if that's something that slides in and off. I'm not really sure. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes this quite a bit easier. Looks like everything is pretty well held into place. I think I'll probably just be able to slip the knife blade back in once it gets to that point. So there we go. Take a look at the bottom there. That is just a little peg that goes on to that there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this the way it is, because what we're doing is dyeing the scales. So I don't really need to take this any further down and risk getting those omega springs broken or stuck or whatever. It's in a pretty good shape now. So we'll leave that. Go ahead and pause this. So I am back in black. So yeah, these are the freshly dyed scales. They were this color. There we go, get them in the shot. This is my first long format video too, so if stuff isn't in shot, it'll get better with the next videos. I'm not going to redo this video just because it's kind of a one and done, one shot type deal. Yeah, that's looks pretty good to me. Almost had a catastrophic incident with the pot. I wasn't paying attention and almost boiled over black dye everywhere. So caught it right before that happened, but don't do that. Bummer. Immediately too dark with the red. It came out a lot darker than I thought it was gonna come out. I mean, that's okay. Let's get this knife foot back together. First things first is we're gonna take the pivot, or the little bracket here, whatever you want to call these, the pins, the whatevers. So yeah, those go right back on there, and that kind of gives you a little, I don't know if you can see that too well, but it came out like a darker, like a maroon. And that's fine for I think what we're gonna do here. Let's pop this on the bottom. Oh yeah, that actually looks pretty nifty. I don't mind that at all. It's pretty cool. And then we're going to, I think what we're going to try and do is put the bottom screws in, and then we're going to slide the knife blade in, and we'll go from there. I'm assuming this is going to be a little bit easier than an access lock. And then everybody will tell you the same thing. If you're taking apart your knife, just have some thread locker available, because you don't want screws falling out as you are carrying your knife. Not fully tight. I never do the screws fully tight before final assembly, just enough to keep everything in place. Grab a little bit of paper towel here, and ooh, that's a lot. Didn't want to use that much, but that's fine. So dip her on in there. Just a little dab is more than enough. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. And we'll go into the other body screw here. Whenever you are working on your knives, you never want to use force. Yeah, there's some, that's just a really tight fit. That's fine. Here, like so. Like so. Tighten that down just a little bit. Alright. So that's essentially what the knife's gonna look like when it's done. Let's start working on the blade itself. So this is a Civivi cloth that's just kind of been imbued with mineral oil, and I just use this kind of as just like a catch-all for anything that might fall out. And then whenever I need to sharpen, or not sharpen, but whenever I need to clean my knives or re-oil them, I can just pull out this mineral oil rag and hit them really quick, because this thing is always imbued with mineral oil. It's a very oily rag. So Just a little dab or two. And we'll pop the other bearing back in. Give that a little bit of a run there. So now we'll take our pivot. Set the knife up for a second. Ah, look at that. It fell back out. That's okay. It's my dog barking his head off. Sorry about that. So we'll do pivot. Is that a one-way pivot? Nope. So that's going to be... Alright. Let's get that pivot in place. And we'll have to put our bearings back in place. There's our bearings. Here comes the pivot. And here comes the knife, I should say. And the pivot doesn't want to play nice right now. There we go. Like a true blue idiot, I realized that it wasn't fitting because the pivot base was on the wrong side of the knife. For some reason I was thinking that was the opposite side, and it's not. So there's that. Really stupid of me, especially when I'm making a video, to do something dumb like that. So we'll take our pivot screw now, a little bit of Loctite on there, maybe some fresh stuff that's starting to dry up a little bit. So we'll put a little bit of Loctite on the pivot screw. We'll tighten it down. And we will make sure we have all the other screws on here. Close this up so we're not at a risk of hurting ourselves. Tighten these up. Now they have Loctite. You just want to go hand tight. You don't want to crank them down. And there we go. We'll do this side too. Oh, that's good. That one can go just a little bit more. Awesome. So that's what the knife is going to look like. We just have a couple more things that I've got to do. I've got to put the pocket clip back on, as well as the spacer for the left-hand carry side of the pocket clip, and then just dial this blade in, and we should be good. It's not too bad right now, actually, but we'll get it dialed in all the way. Finish putting the pocket clip screws in, should be good to go. I set this up for a lefty, and I'm a right-hander, so that's great. So it's gotta just be. It really is a nice budget knife. I'm just being a bit of a ghoul right now. Now that everything is smoother, we will put the stuff in the right way for a right hand carry. Look at the blade. Looks like we're pretty straight and true there. How's the flick? It's good. Got no rock side to side, no up and down. Is it close? Oh, look at that. Action's really nice. Cool. So let's clean this blade off. We'll kind of re-oil the edge of the blade. That's why I like that mineral oil cloth that I mentioned earlier, because you can just take it and just run it just like that. Cool. Well, there it is, the rebuild for the QSP Penguin. Glyde lock. This is mine, black with the, I guess maroon. Wasn't going for red, but something that nobody else has, right? A color that nobody else has. And that's why I like doing these dye jobs, because it shows you something that, or allows you to own something that's a custom that you've done yourself, that maybe not everybody has, you know. I'm sure a lot of people do dye their knives, but, you know, something like this. Cool. Really, really easy knife to disassemble and put back together. As long as you're not stupid like me and you put the pivot on the correct side and the pocket clip on the correct side, which, like I said, I was for some reason trying to set this up as a lefty for a right-handed user. But yeah, there it is, QSP Penguin Glyde.